Talk about on this podcast all the time, it's a bad bet for you to get married. There's guys out there that want to have children, and to keep it real, to have a child grow up in the best environment you can, you need a mom and a dad. And I say marriage is a very good way to have that. It's actually one of the few ways I say, if you want to have kids, then maybe get married, but you got to do it safely. How can people navigate that and put themselves in a position where they don't open themselves up to some serious liabilities like we discussed?
Right. So obviously, without a doubt, a prenuptial agreement.
Okay, gentlemen, let's talk marriage. Here's the thing. Been married 18 years. I've also been married twice before. First time, I was too young. I was 24. Sort of pushed into it by my father. Being the only boy among 5 daughters, my father wanted me to get married young. You know, back in those days, it was easy for him to do. But back in his days, of course, you know, men got married very young. More for modern times, it just wasn't appropriate. Point is, I wasn't ready. I wasn't settled. I was stupid. It lasted 3 years and I got out. I hurt a really nice, beautiful woman, but I learned from it. You know, that's life. Second time, I waited another 10 years, got married again, but got caught up in the whole beauty and, you know, very beautiful woman. But also, that was getting married for the wrong reason. That also lasted 3 years. I got out. Both of my exes were cordial. We still talk to each other. I never had kids in either of those marriages, so that made life a lot easier. And the beautiful thing is they were both working women, and that's the point I want to make. Here's the thing about getting married and then having to pay alimony and child support. Child support is, listen, it's mandatory. You should be a man to take care of your own kid, right? Because it's not only hers, it's yours. So you should at least contribute that. To that. The alimony is where it gets tricky. That's money for her. And the argument is that if the wife is taking care of the child and she has primary care, then that means that she's going to have less time to work and more, and you got to be able to pay for some of that as well. And that's where a lot of men get hung up, because she also gets to take a large percentage of the home. If they built the home together, you know, she gets a lot more assets that he worked hard for.
Alimony, because it's my personal belief that the laws are neutral. They're gender neutral. But men do not get treated fairly when it comes to alimony in the court system. Judges are biased against them. They are. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. In the last 40 years, I have had 4 cases that I remember of men getting alimony that I had to twist their arms in order to get alimony for them.
So what we're talking about in this case is what you come into the marriage with. That's the part I want you guys to focus on, because what you come into the marriage with, and I'm going to make this broad statement, most men come into marriages with more assets than women. Women tend to, and I say tend to because I know I'm going to get some pushback from women. Women tend to be bigger spenders than men. Men tend to invest. Men tend to actually have much more assets coming into their relationship. This is what makes them desirable, because no woman wants a broke man. So if you ladies keep coming with this shit about, oh, most of the guys are broke, that is such a weak argument, because none of you want to freaking marry a broke ass man. So if you don't marry a broke ass man, we have to assume that you have a man that has more assets than you. So all of you that come with this argument about, oh, well, we bring ours to the table as well. No, hell no. No, you don't. Unless you're marrying some broke-ass guy, which is rare, that means you have reached a point in your life where you have no other choice but to compromise for a man below your economical status. Then you as a woman should be looking at getting a prenup signed. And that brings us to this most important point.
I love a good prenup. I get really frustrated when women in particular come to me and say, oh, he wants me to sign a prenup, blah, blah, blah. No, bitch, take that conversation back and own it. You have your own assets that you've worked for. By the way, debt you need to take into consideration. If that person has debt, you don't want that debt.
I think every single marriage should have a prenup if one person has significant assets over the other. A marriage is a business arrangement. It is the bringing together of two people's assets. You all are way too hung up on this whole fairy tale bullshit of, oh, we love each other. Love has nothing to do with it. This is a financial arrangement. Gentlemen, don't let any woman try to convince you or guilt you into thinking.
You really not gonna sign a prenup?
No, I'm not signing no prenup. What you got is what I got.
Okay, but I don't understand, why would you not want to sign? Basically, our love is real.
Your money is my money. Simple as that.
Okay, why are we going straight to the money? It don't have any. All I'm doing is my lawyers are telling me that I have to protect myself, and it's not from you, but it's just
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Everything that you bring in the house, is mine too.
Nah, because I mean, what did you come with? What did you come with that you deserve to think you just gonna like this is for our own protection. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care what you say. It's my money too. Simple as that.
But see, the lawyer said that's what you was gonna do though. They were saying you was not.
No, he didn't.
So what's the point of you not signing the prenup
The
though?
money that you bring home is mine too. Simple as that. End the conversation.
That's crazy. So I guess there ain't gonna be no wedding then.
Whatever. It's gonna be a wedding.
That you're an asshole and you don't trust her because you want a prenup. Don't ever make a woman make you feel that way. You have every right to protect your assets. Marriages fail 56% of the time. That is 56% too often, okay? For you not to protect what you work your ass off for. Point is, always remember, marriage is a financial arrangement. Simple.
Prenup because I don't want to give up half. Again, a prenup doesn't give up half. You're part of the negotiation process. Second, what is half? Another good reason to get a prenup is full disclosure. In order for a prenup to be valid, both sides have to show their cards. It's better to know what each other's finances are before going into the marriage than have a rude awakening sending you to my office.
And listen, even me, a guy who's pro-marriage, would I get married today to a modern woman in a Western society? Hell no. I would look at it like this. Why would I enter into a business arrangement with a partner where there's a 56% chance that that partner is going to rip me off? I would never do it. I have had many business partners over my lifetime, and I can tell you, if I ever had the inkling that the business would fail because of a partner's greed, I would not go into business with them. And that's how you should look at a marriage. Now, let's look at it the other way. So if I was to enter into a business which I felt that there's a lot of benefit to it, and I know that there was this one partner that had the potential of making me a good return on that business, then what I would do, I would make sure that I sign a contract with that business partner that ensures he can't screw me over. Simple, especially if I'm bringing more money to the table. So when you sign a prenup, that's technically what you're doing. You're ensuring that if the partner chooses to try to screw you, that you're covered. That's it. Yes, gentlemen, prenup are okay, but they're also easy to get out of if a woman cries foul.
Well, prenups can be thrown out, so I think that's something that men should be aware of as well.
So do you know why they get thrown out, Pearl?
Like there's one that if they do the prenup like too close to the marriage, basically they'll say she was under duress. Of course. Basically, so you can't like throw your girl a prenup the day before. There's ways to do there's ways to do it right, and there's ways to do it wrong.
I love that.
So what you should do is look at opening a trust.
Do that and then go to an asset protection attorney, an attorney that's going to help you protect your assets, because that's another thing that could help too. Have everything in trust. Nothing is in my name because I just don't want the liability, or all my properties are in LLCs. Like, don't ever buy a property in your own name. Like, why open up an LLC? Move yourself away, let it be a corporate entity, and one LLC per property, please. Not all 50 of them.
Bang, bang.
Before you go to get this marriage, just set yourself up properly so that you are protected. Like, whoever your beneficiaries are, if you are going to do a trust, then okay, great. Make sure if you really, really want to be protected, it should be an irrevocable trust, one that you really have little to no control of. And a lot of people don't like that because then you literally lose control of your assets. But the further away you are from your assets, the better you are protected, because that actually means that you really don't own it. The trust owns it. The trust becomes a corporate entity, and you are just the beneficiary of it, so you don't really have your hands on it.
I prefer trust, meaning all of my assets are owned by a company, an LLC or a blind trust. That's where I don't own anything. That's what I've done in the past.
If I put assets into a trust before I get married and then subsequently I get a divorce, does that mean the assets are part of that divorce proceeding? And in true lawyer speak, the answer is it depends. There's a lot of moving parts to these things, and this is a question that's much bigger than the 30 seconds we're going to allow for this short answer. And what you will need to do is seek out a family law professional as well as very probably an estate planning professional.